Views and opinions expressed on this channel are solely those of the host and guest and are intended for entertainment and discussion purposes only. This channel does not promote bias, hatred, or discrimination of any kind. All questions posed and thoughts shared are part of a critical thinking exercise and are not meant to offend or judge any individual or group. We encourage respectful dialogue and love for all. Please remember to think critically and engage thoughtfully. We aim to foster a positive and inclusive community where everyone feels welcome. Thank you for being a part of Risky Behavior ENT.
Risky behavior. Risky behavior.
Yo, what's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Risky Behavior ENT. I am the host, Mr. Diabolical himself. Today, I wanted to talk about the Shannen Grimes case. It's a woman out of Sandy Springs, Georgia, whose 11-year-old was found stabbed to death in her living room when police did a wellness check.
Sandy Springs' mother is charged with murdering her own daughter. The 11-year-old's body was found Saturday inside their condo. Fox 5's Denise Dillon is live in Sandy Springs on the story. Denise, you talked to neighbors who say they never saw any signs of a problem.
Yeah, that's right. They tell me that the mother and daughter have lived in this complex for at least a decade. They say they were always kind and polite. And tonight, their hearts are breaking over the death of that young girl.
You literally say to yourself, how could I not have known what in the world was going on? But
Mona D'Agostino has lived upstairs from Shannen Grimes and her 11-year-old daughter, Genesis, for years. Genesis was a toddler when they met.
sweet, shy, but ridiculously polite.
That sweet and shy young girl was found dead in the condo she shared with her mother Saturday morning. Sandy Springs police discovered her body after a family member requested a welfare check. The scene inside the condo was described as gruesome.
The officers that responded on scene, they secured the scene, notified detectives. Detectives came out, took over the investigation.
They wouldn't say anything what was going on, but that we were not in danger.
The mother, Shannen Grimes, was taken to the hospital to be evaluated. Once released, she was charged with her daughter's murder.
Malice murder, felony murder, cruelty to children in the first degree, possession of a knife during the commission of a crime, and also tampering with evidence.
Neighbors say they can't imagine what led up to the violent scene that unfolded behind these walls.
Just because they might have a smile on their face doesn't mean it's all okay. You don't know what's going on.
This neighbor says she now knows how important it is to check in with those around you.
That one phone call you might make could be the difference in somebody's life.
And please tell me this was a tough one all around. Tough for the family, the community, and the officers who responded to the crime. Reporting live in Sandy Springs, Denise Dillon, Fox 5.
The shock in Sandy Springs. In November 2025, Sandy Springs, Georgia was rocked by a tragedy when police discovered the body of an 11-year-old Genesis Grimes during a welfare check at the family's condo. Her mother, Shannen Grimes, was arrested and charged with murder. The case immediately drew national attention, not only for its brutality, but for the disturbing details that emerged. in the days followed. Well, as everybody probably knows by now, I'm an article guy, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through this article. Sandy Springs mother charged after 11-year-old daughter found dead in condo. Okay, Sandy Springs, Georgia. Sandy Springs police say a mother has been charged with murdering her 11-year-old daughter after officers found the child dead during a weekend welfare check at the family's condominium. What we know: investigators arrested Shannen Grimes after discovering the body of her daughter Genesis inside their home at the Laurel Grove condominium complex on Carpenter Road. Police were called to the unit Saturday morning when a family member asked officers to check on them. The person who called the police was actually her sister, requested the welfare check. Grimes was taken to the hospital for an evaluation. After she was released, she was charged and booked into the Fulton County Jail on counts of murder, cruelty to children, possession of a knife during the commission of a crime, and other charges, as was said on the video. Also, I want to add, and I got an article that I'm also going to read, but her sister says that the sister said that, and the lady on the screen, Shannen Grimes, was saying that she was going to harm herself. So when the police went to do the welfare check, they also found Shannen Grimes with self-inflicted wounds. Okay. Sandy Springs Police Sergeant Leon Milholland said the relative reached out because something felt wrong. She was alerted to behavior that just wasn't right, and she wanted Sandy Springs Police to do a welfare check. Officers arrived and found the girl dead inside the home. The officers who arrived secured the scene, notified detectives. Detectives took over the investigation. Neighbors described the mother and daughter as kind and polite. Many said the news has left them stunned. Okay. You just say to yourself, how could I have not known what in the world was going on, said Mona D'Agostino, who has lived upstairs from the family for about a decade. And I apologize if I butchered that last name. Others said the case is a reminder to look out for people around you. Just because they have a smile on their face doesn't mean they're okay. You don't know what's going on. The one phone call you make might make a difference in someone's life, one neighbor said. And that was a neighbor we heard speaking on the video. And I got other articles that I'm going to read and do, and it's going to go into more detail on how the young lady's body was found, because they found her in the recliner, which I would assume would have been in the living room of the condo. Okay, I'm gonna skip over this CBS article because it's just more. It's just the same thing, and I like to go through articles because every article is different. You know, as you go through the news articles, especially as they keep putting the articles out, they get more and more information. So you got to read through all the articles just to get all the details, because all the details are never in just one article. Let's talk about the welfare check. Now, the chain of events began with Grimes' sister, who called the police, reporting that Shannen had attempted suicide. Officers arrived at the Laurel Grove condominiums on Carpenter Drive and found Grimes bleeding from a self-inflicted wrist wound. Inside the home, they discovered Genesis dead, seated upright in a recliner with a blanket over her legs. Arrest warrants later revealed she had suffered multiple stab wounds. And if anybody's wondering what I'm reading from my notes. So, yeah. Okay.
Text message led to the discovery of an 11-year-old girl's body at a Sandy Springs condo. Channel 2's Candace McCowan, live now on Carpenter Drive, Northeast. And Candace, the child's mother's in custody.
George, that is right. And just in the past hour or so, we've seen Sandy Springs detectives back here on the scene. That was a text message received by that 11-year-old girl's aunt. That led her to calling police. And then that led police here to this condo here off of Carpenter Drive Northeast. And that is where they found that child's mother and the body of that 11-year-old girl.
There was police tape.
Brent Locke said he had no idea why police were surrounding the condo next to his off of Carpenter Drive Northeast in the Laurel Grove condominium Saturday morning.
They just said, we're doing an investigation. So if possible, don't leave.
We're learning from an incident report. Officers rushed to this condo just before 11 a.m. Saturday after a woman called police saying her sister sent a text message threatening to hurt herself.
Police arrived on scene and they found Miss Shannen Grimes there with her deceased 11-year-old daughter.
The caller was the 11-year-old girl's aunt. Investigators did not release the girl's name or how she died. They took Grimes into custody and took her to the hospital for a medical evaluation.
Warrants have been signed, and detectives are still talking with Miss Grimes. And as soon as they are able to talk to her, we'll be able to release all the charges that are against her.
For the people who live just feet away from the girl and her mother, this is heartbreaking.
I'd seen the little girl there, so that's terrible.
And one neighbor told me about the screams that he heard as police arrived here on scene on Saturday. Now, we should learn in the coming hours the exact charges that mother is going to face. In the meantime, neighbors say before all of this, they never heard a peep from that family. Here in Sandy Springs, I'm Candace McCowan for Channel 2 Action News.
Oh man, it's just sad. I wonder, like, we never know like what's going to make a person snap and what causes things like this. And I think that's what bothers us as a community. People want closure, or they, which I think community closure is just understanding what happened. What could we have done to prevent this? Did I ignore something? In the day-to-day life, you're busy, you're ripping and running, you're running errands, you're taking care of your kids, or you live by yourself, you're going to the job trying to build your life. And to be quite honest, a lot of times we just ignore each other. We just pass each other up and we just go on about our business. You see a mother with a daughter, you don't know if she's going through anything or not. And then something happens and you kind of like beating yourself up a little bit, which, don't be too unfair on yourself, but it is important to use it as a teachable moment to say, hey, pay attention, see what's going on, be there for people when you can, take time to take a break from just being so wrapped up in yourself and what you're going through and look at the people around you. Not too much you can do about a neighbor, but definitely when it comes to family members and people you talk to, like this woman's sister, her sister recognized something was wrong and called the police to do a welfare check. More from this article. 11-year-old found dead mother faces charges after welfare check in Sandy Springs. Sandy Springs police found 11-year-old girl dead after a welfare check. Investigators say her mother has been charged with murder. Police respond to family's condo on Saturday. Channel 2's Candace McCowan learned police were alerted by a call from the girl's aunt, who reportedly received a text message from Grimes threatening to harm herself. And she did proceed to harm herself, which I would be interested to know, were these superficial wounds? Because sometimes people do bad things and to get out of it and to gain sympathy or to seem like, or to play the I'm out of my mind card, they will pretend like they're trying to take their own life when really the wounds are just superficial and the person is putting up, a front, which I'm not suggesting that's what they're doing, but that's something that comes to mind when someone does something so horrible and then afterwards they're trying to take their own life. But it was like, did you, so I would wonder, were those wounds superficial? Or was this a real attempt? They arrived on scene and found Miss Shannen Grimes there with her deceased 11-year-old daughter. Sergeant Leon Mid-Holland told Channel 2 Action News at 6 p.m. Investigators haven't released the girl's name or how she died, although I've said it already, but at the time of this article, they had not released it, but they've released it since then. Fulton County jail records show Grimes faces 2 counts of murder, cruelty to children in the first degree, and tampering with evidence. Neighbors at the Laurel Grove condominiums were shocked by the police presence on Saturday morning. And this is just more breakdown to what we heard the guy who they were interviewing in the video, so I won't read it. That's just written out what he actually said. And forgive me, man. Look, I just be collecting these articles and getting down to the bottom, so I can get down to the bottom of it and get a more well-rounded story. And many times, I'll be honest with you, some of this stuff I've read some of it, I've looked at some of it, but I don't like looking and reading stuff 2 times. So many of it, I'm going over it for the first. Some of it, I'm going over it for the first time with y'all. Okay. Whoo! Shout out to Law and Crime. Shout out to Law and Crime Network, man. Y'all go follow them over here on YouTube, man. And they do a lot of video breakdowns of many of these cases. So this is the article from the Law and Crime Network titled I Happened. Mom cleaned and positioned her 11-year-old daughter in recliner after stabbing her to death, police say. In this article, we're going to get into the welfare check and how they found the daughter's body. Okay. Picture of the mom. This is the Laurel Grove condominiums in the background. And you can tell from her mugshot. I'm telling you, mugshots. If you watch this channel, you know how I feel about mugshots, man. Mugshots be revealing. They say the windows are the eyes to the soul. That may be true, but damn sure a mugshot definitely is a window to the eyes of the soul. Okay. A Georgia woman was charged with murder after police found her daughter's dead body propped up in a recliner. Think about how horrifying, crazy that is. You go to do this wellness check, and this woman, and this is all allegedly because the case ain't over with, right? Allegedly, but you walk in to see an 11-year. This is a child. This is a baby, stabbed up, clean, and then just propped up in a chair. This is something like I don't know who's watched the Ed Gein story on Netflix, but this Ed Gein behavior, propped up in the recliner as if I don't know if she's still alive or something. That's disturbing to walk. That's why I couldn't be no like first responder, no police officer, detective that I got to show up, especially when it deals with children. I don't know if I can handle that. Shannen Grimes, age 42, is behind bars in the Fulton County Jail after being charged with 2 counts of murder, cruelty to children, possession of a firearm or knife during commission of a felony, and tampering with evidence. Before she was booked into jail on Tuesday, she was treated at the hospital following an attempt to take her own life. According to Sandy Springs Police, Grimes' sister called 911 on November the 14th after Grimes told her she had attempted to kill herself. Police went to Grimes' home in Laurel Grove condominiums, where they found Grimes with a cut to her wrist and her 11-year-old daughter, Genesis, who was deceased and placed sitting up in a recliner. So that's what those officers had to walk in on. Her wrist cut, which once again, I wonder if it was superficial or not, and a little girl body just sitting up in a recliner. Arrest warrants obtained by local news stations WANF stated that Grimes' sister let police into the condo where they found Grimes lying on the couch, bleeding from a cut to at least one of her wrists. So at least one of her wrists. Grimes was found by officers in a recliner near the couch with a blanket or towel over her legs. She was pronounced dead at the scene. When officers asked Grimes what happened to her daughter, she allegedly responded, "I happened." So that was her response. "What happened to your daughter?" "I happened." Upon further investigation, police said there were at least 4 puncture wounds visible on the girl's neck and shoulder area, but little to no blood. Police said that it appeared that Genesis had been cleaned and positioned in the recliner. Mhm. That's also when you watch a lot of true crime, you find out also that's a telltale sign if if the victim knows the person that hurt them. Um, when people are killed by people that know them, in this case, they have a good idea of who did it because she confessed, right? But in certain other cases, they might not know who did it, but they can tell if somebody close to you killed you because things like cleaning the body, placing a blanket over the body, covering the person's face suggest that um the victim knew their killer. Okay. Police said that blood was found throughout the house, including items that were seemingly used to clean or capture some of the blood. Reportedly, blood soaked paper towels, trash cans, and a bucket in the living room where Genesis' body was found. Knives that appeared to be stained with blood were found near the kitchen. Oh my God, that's disturbing. A mother attacking a daughter, and then to the point where it wasn't even one knife used. You use this knife, and you like, man, you go get another knife. It it's just sick to think that a child's last moments on earth was being attacked by their own mom, the person that brought him into this world, the person that's supposed to take care of him. It's just horrifying. According to the warrant, blood-soaked clothing and bedding were found in a box in Grimes' bedroom, including a shirt that had holes around the neck and shoulder area. While Grimes was in the ambulance on her way to the hospital, she allegedly admitted to police that she stabbed her daughter in the neck. After being treated at the hospital, Grimes was booked into Fulton County Jail where no bond amount has been listed. Hmm. Sad. So we've gone over. When questioned by the police, Grimes reportedly said, "I happened," admitting responsibility for her daughter's death. She was treated at a hospital before being booked into Fulton County Jail. She now faces 2 counts of murder, cruelty to children, possession of a weapon during a felony, and tampering with evidence. Neighbors expressed shock, describing the family as quiet and polite, underscoring how hidden such violence can be. Also, if you notice too, it's saying, "Oh, she was taken to the hospital and treated for her wounds and then booked." That means to me that says that her wounds, this whole "I'm going to take my life." No, she wasn't. To me, that says that she has superficial wounds and she's trying to me, like she's trying to put up a front. Okay. She's she's just trying to put up a front, trying to pretend like, "Oh, I'm crazy." You ain't that crazy. You weren't trying to take your life. You had superficial wounds. You go, come on, you in there pretend like, "Oh, you done cut your wrist." You go to the hospital, they touch you up and then just take you to jail. No. I doubt she was really trying to take her life. I don't think. That would be my opinion. You know, not saying I know everything, but that would be my opinion. Um, Community reaction. I'm just going over my notes now. Neighbors at Laurel Grove condominiums were stunned. Many had seen Genesis playing outside and described her as a bright, cheerful child who loved acting. The welfare check was triggered by family concerns, but intervention came too late. This tragedy highlights how warning signs often surface only after only after the violence has already occurred, raising questions about the effectiveness of child protection systems. Um, we would have to go more into the history of the family though, and I was trying to find some of those things. Um, okay. All right, let me go over this article. Warrants. Officers came into an apartment and found an 11-year-old dead. Asking mom what happened, she responded, "I happened." Let me see this video play. It don't even look like it had loaded up. Oh well. Okay. Boom. Arrest warrants give new insights into an unsettling case out of Sandy Springs, announced by police on Monday, in which a mom is accused of murdering the death of her 11-year-old daughter. Sandy Springs PD said yesterday the mom, Shannen Grimes, was still in the hospital and had not talked to detectives about her daughter's death, which was discovered on Saturday. Arrest warrants. Now the video I want to try to pop up. Get out here. Arrest warrants obtained Tuesday by 11 Alive detailed how Grimes' sister was the one who called police, worried after the mom made statements that she had attempted to commit suicide, which I think she was just looking for attention. The sister had a key to the apartment at the Laurel Grove condominiums on Carpenter Drive and let officers inside just before 11 a.m. on November the 15th. Once they entered, officers found the 11-year-old dead in a recliner and the mom lying on the couch with at least one of her wrists cut and bleeding. As responding officers were assessing the scene and attempting to determine who all had been hurt, they asked Grimes what happened to the juvenile. Grimes responded something to the effect of "I happened" to the juvenile. The warrant states the mom was taken to a hospital where, as of Monday, she was still in treatment. The warrant filed Saturday says she was under sedation at the time. I don't know. Maybe she did. I don't. The other article made it seem like she was just in and out. Maybe she did really try to take her life. I don't know. Investigators found a range of unsettling evidence: large blood stains throughout the apartment, blood-soaked clothes, bedding, and towels, and multiple blood-stained knives in the kitchen sink. They found the 11-year-old girl with 4 puncture wounds around her shoulder and neck area. The warrant notes it appeared she had been cleaned and positioned in the recliner. There was no sign of forced entry at the apartment. The warrant notes officers encountered locked doors and a chair propped under the doorknob of the entryways. There was no sign of forced entry at the apartment. The warrant notes officers encountered locked doors and a chair propped under the doorknob of the entryways. It would seem, well, her sister, okay, so she calls her sister and says, "Hey, I'm attempting to take my life." Maybe she really was, right? Because she knows her sister has a key. So knowing her sister has a key, not wanting her to interfere or to walk in on what she has done, she puts a chair under the door, or she already always had the chair up under the door because if her sister has a key and she's in there trying to clean up her daughter's body after committing this crime. So, it was unclear how long the daughter may have been deceased. It's a tough situation for everyone. It's tough for the family. Our thoughts go out to the family. It's tough for the community. It's tough for the police officers that had to deal with this, said Sandy Springs Police Public Information Officer Sergeant Leon Milholland said on Monday. The rest of this article is more into what the a neighbor said. And here they put additional information. You know, the young lady, she loved acting. We'd gone to see her play in the summertime. She was in the Wizard of Oz, for heaven's sakes, said the neighbor. It's just so tragic and shocking. Both Katie and I yesterday, my wife, we just sat around like literally like an earthquake had hit right underneath us. How did we not even begin to understand that something like that could happen? Sad, sad, sad story. Okay, that's a short article. I need to do that. That about wraps it up. And I apologize. I seen this story, and then I just wanted it to jump right on it, man. I like to be I don't be as clean cut as other people, and I honestly I don't want to be. I like reading the articles and I like going over it with the audience. So, hey. More from my notes that I be taking. This case also exposes cultural double standards. Fathers accused of killing children are often labeled monsters, while mothers are more frequently framed as mentally ill or overwhelmed. Media narratives risk overshadowing the child's story, focusing instead on the mother's struggles. This bias can distort public perception and reduce accountability. Which is why I do this, man. And shout out to my brother, the Prince of Petty, who got me into reporting on crimes like this. Many times they are the death of children are swept under the rug. They don't really give them that much media attention, and and even with the double standard part of it, I, I think it's an insult, when a child is killed and they just go, oh, she was just mentally ill. Versus, the other way around when it's like, oh man, this guy's an evil monster and he needs to, versus, like I was saying, it to me, it just reduces the accountability. Not that I don't want to recognize if people are truly mentally ill, but it's kind of like you hear it so much and it's kind of like, where's the accountability so. Anywho, I'm gonna get up out of here. Just wanted to bring awareness to this story. The Shannen Grimes case is still unfolding, but its impact is already clear. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. Motherhood does not guarantee safety, and systemic blind spots can cost lives. If we want to prevent future tragedies, we must demand accountability from child protective systems, challenge cultural biases, and remember that every child deserves to be heard, protected, and loved. And if you got a family member that is struggling with things, man, pay attention to the signs and get over there and help them. Don't just ignore them. Don't wait till the last minute. Okay. You might feel like it's not your responsibility, but it must be somewhat your responsibility, because after these things happen, people just sit around and go, oh, I wonder what I could have did. So it's got to be your responsibility, right? It happens in your community. It happens to your family members. So look out for your people, man, and go check in on people. It, you know, especially just for the child, man. It's sad what that young lady had to go through. Righty there. Anywho, I'm done with this video, man. I appreciate you all. I'll catch you next time. Like the video, man. Share it with a friend. Use it as a conversation speech. Join me and countless others as we bring awareness to crimes against children. Anywho, this is Risky Behavior, ENT. I am the host, Diabolical, and I will catch you next time. Peace.
Risky behavior.